Good evening, everyone. I'm okay. So we're exactly delayed by an hour. Am I audible? Right at the back? So I'll try and keep this to 20 minutes flat so you all don't have a very long evening. My topic that I'm covering today is the emphasis on building an organization culture. And all of us here, CFOs or would be CFOs or future CFOs, need a strong team. And no one's born with a strong team. You have to most times develop that small team into what you want it to be, because it's not very easy to just sack people, hire people, and the next person you hire, there's no guarantee that he'll fit what you want. Yeah. So we'll cover whether the topic that was given to me was digital workforce and finance is hybrid the way forward. And this question has essentially come up because of the COVID times that we all went through. And there are positives, negatives, and a lot of cultural shifts that we have been seeing. So in the next 20 minutes, I'll cover some of those. Like we know, in an organizational culture, there's always a difference from you want to go from A to B, and obviously from a particular part to going to a particular way we want to go. You need to identify what are the problems or what are the issues that are there, plan for the next best options, execute, and review its working. Every aspect, I was talking to some of the speakers who came in here, including me. My slot was at 3, I was here at 1 because I wanted to hear others speak, because seldom do we get a chance to hear others speaking. Because when we reach a particular age, we think we know it all. ये क्या ये तो मालूम है, ये क्या ये तो मालूम है, half the time, So one needs to always be inquisitive about things. Learning should never stop. Regulatory aspects. The entire regulatory spectrum changes by the hour. Right, just like the medical fraternity, all of us in the finance field, there are direct tax changes, there are some quantum changes, like GST came in and all of us were busy 6 months, 1 year into implementation of GST. Even now, a lot of things are changing in GST for the better, things are improving, the GST returns are getting better, easier, and compliance will remain the way it is, and a lot of our time is going to go in compliance in the new setup in India. The key to all of it is process adherence, because when you're talking about large organization with 5,000 people in the organization, a 500 member team, you're not going to be micromanaging stuff. If your processes are set and your controls are there, whether they're software enabled or otherwise, and look for improvements everywhere. To give you a classic case, 5 years back, we had in Madison, we had 2 independent softwares. One doing billing, the other one doing the financial aspects. No one thought whether we can merge the two, how do we get them together. There was an entire team of 7 people who were taking printouts from the billing file, and re-entering everything into the finance system. So here was an opportunity where we thought if we integrate both of them, of course it took us 6 months to a year, a lot of cost, but the one-time thing that we did was we merged the two, so data now flows from the billing system into the finance system, and obviously there are checks and balances to see if data is flown completely. Interdepartmental collaboration. Finance professionals have to be the greatest collaborators, because be it sales, be it production in a production facility, be it the marketing people, all of them will need one person to always talk to, and that's the finance person. And if it's a two-way collaboration between the finance and the non-finance teams, that is how the organization will grow, because ultimately it's the CEO's objectives which we all need to drive. Revisiting our expectations and redefining deliverables for the finance workplace. what I've done in the last 5, 7 years is I've seen a lot of monotony in work. The guy who's processing payments is only doing payments. He's very happy. I've processed 100 crores of money out to vendors. I've collected 500 crores every month. He's very happy. I brought in this key change 3, 4 years back, especially in the COVID time when people had a lot of time, more time than usual. Is every year in your KRAs you have, or your KPIs, you have 2 or 3 new initiatives. Like the one who's doing preparing checks, whether he should move to a thing of processing online payments. That could be one of his KPIs. The person who's actually doing billing moves it to another function which is supervising 3, 4 people who are doing billing. Enabling growth through training. Continuous on-the-job training or classroom training is needed. Always we see that people are eager to learn, but India has very few trainers. So the trainers need to be identified within your team, make them specialists in particular domains, and then move them towards becoming full-time trainers. Another important aspect is shadowing. I've heard many a times, sir, वो तो लीव पे चला गया, वो करता था ये काम, अभी वो 1 महीना नहीं है, अभी वो नहीं होगा सर, अभी नहीं होगा, अभी आपका पेमेंट 1 साल के बाद, 1 महीने के बाद आएगा. Doesn't happen. In my industry, if I don't process a payment, my next media release is held up. So I have started this for every role that I have at least 2, because sometimes there is more work in a particular function, there is less work somewhere else, there's never less work anywhere else. But there's sometimes people have to double up for 14 hours, 16 hours. Instead of that, if people take on more or take on somebody else's role for a stopgap arrangement, it works. So important for people to learn each other's work. Also will encourage job rotation to a large extent. Coming back to the main aspect, whether remote or hybrid is the work future, right? All of us have had this experience and are forced to work from home. How many of you all, with a show of hands, would love to work 100% from home? 3, 4, right? Yeah, how many out of this 3 or 4 people say they would still want to work from home, right? And I'm assuming the other 97 or 97% want to come to work. Why is that? No. No, bachelors even more want to come to work. You know why? Free khana, free coffee, free internet. Pardon me? Absolutely. She's got it perfect. We are humans. And humans by the small nature of things, a smile, a touch, a hug. Alright? Is really motivating. किसी ने कोई अच्छा काम कर दिया ना कोविड पीरियड में और बहुत ब्रिलियंट काम किया है लोगों ने, सर वो नहीं हो रहा है, वो प्रोसेसिंग है ना, अभी भी दिखा रहा है प्रोसेसिंग, रात को 2 बजे वो पेमेंट निकल गया वेंडर को, बिकॉज दैट इज द स्पीड ऑफ आवर इंटरनेट एट होम. आई एम गोइंग टू कवर दैट इन सम टाइम, राइट? बट व्हेन दैट गाय इज इन ऑफिस ही डज ब्रिलियंट वर्क. अरे शाबाश, क्या सुपर्ब काम किया तूने, राइट? और माय एमडी इज एमडी से छुपे कैसे घर पे? ही नोज योर मोबाइल नंबर. ऑफिस में तो छुप सकते हैं, कहीं वो एमडी कुछ सवाल पूछ ले. Work from home is only for mature minds, right? I have few people, 10% of my team. I don't have to search where they are. They may be on the moon, but they will deliver what is to be delivered. If the MIS has to come on the 5th, it will come on the 5th. Except when that individual lost his mother on the 3rd, the MIS was delayed and we came on the 7th to the 8th. Otherwise, the MIS came on 5th, means 5th. And those are the people who are mature enough, maturity that doesn't go by age. There's a 22-year-old who understands his responsibilities, and there's a 55-year-old person who thinks 5 साल रिटायरमेंट में किसी तरह वक्त काटना है. Brilliant. Today morning there was a news about, and all of us must have seen the first page of the ET, right? Foxconn is developing hostels, the China model, and that's the best model. आपका ऑफिस इधर है, आपका घर इधर है, या आपका accommodation इधर है. All you do is 10 minutes to get to work, 10 minutes to 15 minutes to come back to work. You get that extra 2 hours, right? I'll give you a personal example. I stayed in Borivali for various reasons. And I used to commute to Prabhadevi. In 3 years or 5 years, I lost 4 drivers. Eventually, I gave up. I bought an automatic car. But now I stay at Andheri West. I work at Andheri East. 3 kilometers, 10 minutes. मैं यहाँ से फ़ोन करता हूँ, खाना गर्म करना शुरू कर, मैं पहुँच रहा हूँ. Whereas it was 2.5 hours, sometimes 3 hours, and when BMC decided to dig some road, or BMC decided to, build a bridge, working towards a better tomorrow, it took us 3 hours, 3.5 hours, and वो ट्रेन में जाने की आदत निकल गई है. प्लस ये पहन के ट्रेन में जाएंगे, इसका अलग ही हिस्ट्री निकल के बाहर आता है, राइट? Biggest issue here is most of us started with hotspots. Then the organization somehow gave people a little bit of internet connection money, because all of this was new. And this is exactly our picture. I'll come to the last part of my small presentation. And all of us have been doing this. This will sound a little cliche or very repetitive, but since it's part of that, use of technology for sourcing talent, and all of us have done that. Job search online. The best case is Naukri.com. None of us will say my CV is not on Naukri, or at some point of time my CV was not on Naukri, or LinkedIn today, right? The other one is more and more recruitment has now started with psychometric tests. Where it all began, we were all thinking, अच्छा खासा टाइम पास है ना, वो सोल्यूशन प्रोवाइडर को थोड़ा पैसे मिल रहे हैं, वो कोई HR वाले का कोई पहचान वाला होगा, उसको थोड़ा पैसा खिला रहा है, और उसका भी कुछ होगा उसमें. But this is now becoming the norm of the day, because you exactly know कि वो बंदा पायलट बनना चाहता था बचपन में, या सच में इंजीनियर बनना चाहता था, या चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट बनना चाहता था. पापा ने बोला इंजीनियरिंग करो. सॉरी फॉर ऑल द इंजीनियर्स इन द रूम, बट पापा ने बोला इंजीनियरिंग करो. घिस पिट के मैंने इंजीनियरिंग किया, फिर बोला इसके बाद क्या करूं, मैं MBA किया, अब बैंक में नौकरी कर रहा हूं. So this is very important to analyze whether he really wanted to do what he is doing today. And with that, I'll thank you for being a patient audience.